Hello, I'm Nicolette Pomba-Van editor of ESI Africa magazine, coming to you from the African Utility Week studio. Today I'm speaking with Dr. Peter Smith, who is the Global Technology Manager at Shell Global Solutions. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to talk to you about transformers and turbines.
Sure.
We know that these are very important assets within the energy sector. What are the challenges that come up during the course of the lifespan of these assets?
Yeah, very good question. So typically most of the utility companies are looking to have equipment that's more reliable, offers longer life, and has less in terms of sort of unplanned shutdowns and outages. So typically the lubricant gives a lubricant solution to an engineering challenge. So typically the oil has to cope with higher temperatures, it tends to have shock loads, often the system is stopping and starting, so you have variable temperatures, and that all places a huge severe stress on the oil. So to get long oil life, long equipment life, good reliability of the equipment, you need to use the best oil in the marketplace, and typically the quality and performance of the oils is being driven up ever more by the design and operational challenges of the equipment.
Right. So oil in the utility space is one of the main components of having assets that are performing at the right level.
Exactly, yeah.
So in terms of maintenance around this and prolonging the life of that asset, what needs to happen? Yeah,
so one of the important parameters I think that many customers aren't really aware of is that all oils will degrade in service with time, but we as a lubricant provider can actually put in different base oils, different additives to make sure that the rate of degradation and the oil life is prolonged. So by putting in the right base oils and additives, we get extended oil life, extended equipment life.
I imagine that there's a lot of research and development behind the scenes.
There's a lot of work. So at the moment, the excitement and interest in the technology is coming from a type of product called gastoliquids technology. This is a Shell gastoliquids based technology. And what that means is conventional lubricants in the marketplace today are typically based on crude derived material. And of course the challenges of crude are long-term availability is limited. Depending on where the crude source is and how the refiners refine the product, you can have variable chemistry, variable performance in the lubricants you base on a crude derived product. The beauty benefit of gastoliquids technology is you start with natural gas. This is purified, broken down, recombined to make a manufactured bespoke hydrocarbon oil, and that has superb lubricant performance both for turbine applications, for transformer applications as a fuel. It's also used in other products as well.
So the message that I'm getting here is that not oils are oil.
Exactly. Many customers think all oils are the same and basically select an oil on pricing alone and don't worry about performance. And many customers think as long as it meets a performance specification, it's okay. But what I don't think many customers realize is that you can meet a specification and you can exceed a specification. And the latest generation of oils don't just meet the specification, they exceed the specification. And what that means for a customer is, as an engineer, a maintenance engineer, you can sleep easy knowing with the right lubricant, insulating fluid, your asset is going to operate for longer at a higher performance level than if you were using a cheaper and more cheerful type of product that was perhaps used historically.
Yes, yeah. And with the energy landscape changing the way that it is, I'm sure that the oil space is also going to be changing. So what do you see in the future?
Yeah, so I think some of the drivers we see from the application side are longer oil drain intervals. We see more stop-start type operations, so there's an increasing influence of renewables here. So most of the power generating capacity is stopping and starting. It's a peaking type power production instead of base loaded. And transformers, we're seeing an interest in having transformer oils and transformers that can generate higher voltages more reliably for longer. So typically the oil has to cope with a higher voltage, higher temperatures, and all of those place a stress on the oil. Conventional oils tend to fade quickly over time. The latest generation of oils will give you extended oil life, extended equipment life. I've probably said the same thing a number of times there, actually.
Right.
I could talk a bit more about the technology. Shall I talk a bit more about the technology leadership?
Yes.
If you like, working with the third parties, universities, because I realised I didn't answer that fully. So yeah, typically within Shell we do a lot of our own in-house research in technology centres in places like Houston, Hamburg, and we now have a new technology centre in Shanghai. So for customers around the world, we've got a long arm and global reach.
Yes.
But we also do a lot of research with universities and third-party institutes because we need to leverage university knowledge and expertise. So we typically work with the likes of the University of Manchester on transformer oils. We're working with the University of Hanover, the Shearing Institute, also on electrical oils, to really understand the fundamentals of the equipment, the application, and how the oil reacts and reflects the application life. So by knowing that, we can generate and develop new, better oils in the future. So if you like, the oil space is constantly evolving, developing lubricants, insulating fluids to cope with the constantly evolving design and operational challenges coming from the equipment.
Thank you very much, Peter, for sharing that with us. It's
Thanks
an innovative space that is developing alongside the utility sector. Thank you. Thank you for watching. This is Nicolette Pomba van Zyl coming to you from the African Utility Week studio.